Houston, a city of dreams, a city of opportunity, a city of gleaming skyscrapers and sprawling suburbs, but beneath this shiny surface, a different Houston exists. A Houston where thousands struggle to survive, invisible to those speeding by in their air-conditioned cars. This is the Houston of the homeless, a population often misunderstood and overlooked. They are not just numbers on a statistic sheet. They are human beings, men and women, children and veterans. They are our neighbors, and their stories deserve to be heard. The problem of homelessness in Houston is complex. It is a tangled web of economic hardship, social injustice, and systemic failures. It is a problem that demands our attention, our empathy, and our action. For in the richest nation on earth, no one should have to sleep on the streets. Houston boasts a thriving economy. New businesses open daily, construction cranes dot the skyline, building luxury condos that few can afford. Yet, amidst this abundance, the gap between the haves and the have-nots widens. The cost of living in Houston has skyrocketed. Rent has become unaffordable for many working families, forcing them to make impossible choices between paying rent or putting food on the table. The minimum wage, stagnant for years, offers no path out of poverty. And so, they end up on the streets, living in tents under highway overpasses, sleeping on park benches, their belongings stuffed in shopping carts. The stark contrast between Houston's wealth and its homeless population is a searing indictment of our priorities as a society. It is a reminder that economic growth without social justice rings hollow. Every year, cities across America conduct a point-in-time count to get a snapshot of homelessness. Volunteers fan out across the city, counting the number of people living on the streets, in shelters, and in transitional housing. In January 2024, Houston counted 3,280 homeless individuals. But this number only tells part of the story. The point-in-time count, by its very nature, is an undercount. It fails to capture those who are couch surfing, staying temporarily with friends or family. It misses those living in their cars, hidden from view. The true number of homeless individuals in Houston is likely much higher. And behind each number is a human being with a story to tell. A story of hardship, resilience, and often incredible strength in the face of adversity. These are not just statistics, these are our neighbors. Homelessness is not a choice. It is the result of a complex interplay of factors, often beyond an individual's control. The leading causes of homelessness in Houston are no different than in other major cities: lack of affordable housing, poverty, and mental health issues. The shortage of affordable housing in Houston is dire. The waiting list for public housing can stretch for years. And for those lucky enough to secure a Section 8 voucher, finding a landlord willing to accept it can be a challenge in itself. Many homeless individuals work low-wage jobs, often holding down multiple jobs just to make ends meet. But with wages stagnant and the cost of living rising, they find themselves trapped in a cycle of poverty with no way out. The lack of affordable housing and living wages creates a perfect storm for homelessness. It is a system that traps people in poverty, leaving them vulnerable to the streets. Section 5, Faces of Resilience. Meet Sarah, a single mother of 2 young children. Sarah worked as a cashier at a grocery store, but when the pandemic hit, she lost her job. Unable to find work and facing eviction, she and her children ended up at a homeless shelter. Meet David, a veteran who served 2 tours in Iraq. David struggled with PTSD and addiction after returning home. He lost his job, his family, and eventually, his home. He now lives on the streets, haunted by his past. Meet Maria, a senior citizen who worked as a home health aide for years. When her health deteriorated, she could no longer work. Unable to afford her rent on a fixed income, she was evicted from her apartment. She now lives in her car. These are just a few of the thousands of faces of homelessness in Houston. Each face tells a story of struggle, resilience, and the will to survive. They are a testament to the human spirit's ability to endure even in the darkest of times. For many experiencing homelessness, the struggle extends beyond finding food and shelter. It's a daily battle against invisibility, stigma, and a system that often seems designed to keep them down. Accessing essential services like healthcare, mental health support, and even obtaining identification documents becomes an uphill climb. Many homeless individuals lack basic identification, making it nearly impossible to apply for jobs, housing, or government assistance. Without a fixed address, receiving mail, a necessity for navigating bureaucratic hurdles, becomes another hurdle. The stigma surrounding mental illness prevents many from seeking the help they desperately need. The fear of judgment, coupled with a lack of accessible and affordable mental health services, creates a vicious cycle. The lack of empathy and understanding from the housed population further isolates those experiencing homelessness. They are often met with scorn, fear, or simply ignored. Their presence is seen as a nuisance, a blight on the cityscape. In 2024, Houston's newly elected Mayor John Whitmire announced a $70 million initiative aimed at ending unsheltered homelessness by 2026. The plan, a mix of short-term and long-term strategies, offers a glimmer of hope. The initiative includes increasing the city's shelter capacity, expanding access to mental health and substance abuse services, and providing job training and placement programs. It also emphasizes a housing-first approach, prioritizing getting people into stable housing first, and then addressing their underlying issues. While the plan has been met with cautious optimism by some, others remain skeptical. They argue that the plan lacks concrete details and sufficient funding to address the root causes of homelessness. They point to the city's history of broken promises and failed initiatives. Addressing a problem as complex as homelessness requires more than just temporary fixes. It demands a fundamental shift in how we, as a society, view and address poverty, inequality, and social justice. We need to move beyond the band-aid solutions and address the systemic issues that perpetuate homelessness. This means investing in affordable housing, raising the minimum wage, expanding access to healthcare, and providing quality education and job training programs. We need to invest in preventative measures, such as rental assistance programs and legal aid services, to help individuals and families stay housed in the first place. Most importantly, we need to change the narrative around homelessness. We need to see beyond the stereotypes and recognize the humanity of those experiencing homelessness. They are not problems to be solved, but human beings deserving of our compassion, respect, and support. Ending homelessness in Houston, or any city for that matter, is not just the responsibility of the government. It is a shared responsibility that requires the collective effort of individuals, communities, businesses, and policymakers. We can all do our part: volunteer at a local homeless shelter or donate to organizations working to combat homelessness. Support policies that promote affordable housing, living wages, and access to healthcare. Challenge the stigma surrounding homelessness and mental illness. Most importantly, listen to the stories of those experiencing homelessness. Empathize with their struggles, recognize their humanity, for it is only through understanding and compassion that we can begin to dismantle the systems that perpetuate homelessness and create a more just and equitable society for all.